to the Whitest House. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. Except the blood of the poor and the way they mouth. The last gasp of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the Whitest House, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.
What up, what up? We are live in full effect, you know what I'm saying? A little bit something different, you know.
Tell them why we're the way we are right now.
Because we wasn't able to record Tuesday, brother. We don't want to get into anybody's personal details. Live on the air, my brother. For personal reasons, we weren't able to record on Tuesday. So therefore, you know what I'm saying, we are live here on Wednesday. So we can, if folks hop in the comments, we can interact with you. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to this.
To better service the community.
For This Week in Jasiri X.
We decided to go live.
To better service the community. I'm Jasiri X, I'm co-founder and CEO, but I guess my name is right here. Yeah, there you go. And to the box to my immediate right or left, depending on how you're looking at it.
It's your boy Treble NLS. Never like supremacy. Nature loves shy, as you can see from the hair. You know what I'm saying? Niggas love snacking.
Yes, and the fresh new reject shirt on. I see you, brother.
You feel me?
You got the fragrances available. You got the shirts, brother. You doing it all.
We out here.
Yes, and apparently there are some people in the office. There are some N words.
Not Miracle.
The one in the office.
It's me.
We had the whole rap.
Oh, I didn't know he was doing the rap.
It's fine. I'm Miracle.
The venomous, the villainous, the callous, the misanthropic.
Do you have like a little notepad where you write down all the
No, I'm just going off the cuff.
This week in white supremacy acronyms that you're going to use.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to, for folks that are joining us. Yeah, man.
We're really opposite twinning today.
Are we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yes,
glasses,
yes.
hair, hat, the white, the black.
Yeah. Lightly melanated, hella black. Come on.
Yeah, I got you. All right, so
I didn't bully anybody this week.
He pointed at himself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, lightly melanated, hella black. Yeah.
I was pointing out that I didn't bully you this week.
No, not yet.
We appreciate that.
It's only Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean that you've decided not to bully us. I mean, we had kind of I would describe this weekend as like July 4th weekend. I would describe it as like a most American weekend. Particularly I'm just saying, as we see, how America's handling things moving forward, because we had another police killing of an unarmed black man, and we had another mass shooting, right? So to me, like,
it's more American than that. And there was baseball and apple pie and fireworks.
100%. It doesn't get more American than that. And so you had, in Akron, Ohio, a brother named Jalen Walker, who was, I guess, he was doing DoorDash. From what the police account is, it was a traffic stop that led to, him being shot at over 100 times and shot 60 times. And it was because, according to what police said, they had to take that measure because he fled. But, there was also a mass shooting in Highland Park, Illinois, where, this guy, Robert Cremo, shot 70 times at the crowd. I believe 5 people died, 16 people were injured. From what I heard, it was I heard both parents of a 2-year-old died. He also fled, but he was apprehended, with no problem at all, even though he fled after committing a mass shooting and was armed. Just any comments that you have in terms of kind of how these incidences really show kind of like life in America for black people and white people and kind of that dynamic?
Sadly, I'm usually like numb to things like this because it's kind of expected at this point. Right. But this one in particular kind of hurt because it's like did they have to fire that many times?
Absolutely
You know
not.
what I'm saying? It's like, what was the intention behind that? That was like,
Right.
if we had to have a definition for excessive force, that went beyond excessive. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, and you could even argue that's excessive amount of police just for a traffic stop. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like a traffic stop, and you feel the need to have that many police officers. You know what I'm saying? You were saying something, Fruit?
Yes, it's usually 2 policemen for a traffic stop.
Right.
So you said there was what, 8?
Well, eight police officers that ended up firing upon him, even though he was unarmed.
That's just it's fucking nuts.
And
Like,
it was a traffic stop at that.
Right.
It's like this dude shoots into a crowd at a parade and is apprehended alive before a traffic stop. He deserves to die. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
I got friends that like do DoorDash and like, Uber Eats and everything like that. And you think about like that could have been anybody.
True.
Right. That really could have been anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it's sad. And like Trouble said, you kind of get desensitized to it, unfortunately, because we constantly see the CCTV footage. We see like, the Sean King retweets. We see every day. It's like, oh, and police, and we know the statistics from the DOJ. It's like what, 4 Black people are murdered every day by police in the States.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, man, I mean, it's awful, but it's like, unfortunately, it was like what that was Saturday. You know what I mean? It's a Friday. It's a Wednesday. It's it's really unfortunate. But like you said, it's an American holiday. That was the most American weekend that you could possibly have.
Absolutely. Miracle.
I think everyone realized it was going to be bad once the mayor was like, we're canceling July 4th.
100%.
Canceling our fireworks.
And that's the mayor in Akron, because the fireworks in Highland Park were canceled too, as well as some of the neighboring areas canceled their July 4th celebrations as well.
And so I don't think we realized how bad it was going to be. And again, it's always the depravity of these police officers. You shoot somebody over 60 times, you handcuff them, you don't give them emergency care, and you essentially let them bleed out, on a pavement. And then we turn around and we see someone who is a murderer, another fleeing. They had to tell the Highland shooter multiple times, give him instructions multiple times, but they knew him, right? And so because they knew him, they knew who he was, they knew what he was capable of, they gave him mercy. And it's one of these things where Black people have no opportunity for grace, mercy, and second chances, even when white people who have been known to terrorize their community, family members, engage in a pre-planned hate crime, and they get to be treated with respect and dignity and given all of these excuses. It really is super infuriating to watch and to experience.
So I have a question that was like, and I'm sure there was, was there a manifesto, or was he aiming indiscriminately, or was he targeting specifically Black and brown people? Like, what was the?
Yeah, so he was someone who had a various white supremacist ideology, and he picked a neighborhood that was predominantly Hispanic, Latinx, and Jewish to attack on July 4th weekend. He is someone who has espoused white supremacist views, the replacement theory, and so on and so forth. But no one's calling him a terrorist. No one's talking about his rantings. No one's talking about the fact that like he had been talking about killing people for years. Meanwhile, we're living in situations where Black and brown people are in jail right now because of song lyrics and tweets, and getting visited by the FBI and having their rights taken away 100%. Because stuff they put in social media and in art projects. Yet this man can repeatedly threaten to kill people and nothing happens to him until he decides to act on it. It is, again, a clear depiction of what it means to have white supremacy protection in America.
Right. And it's interesting even to look at like the response to the Highland Park shooter. When you look at like Fox News response, it was a response from Tucker Carlson, where it was like, oh, well, this is what happens when you have women telling, young men that they have male privilege and they have to get their act together. You know what I'm saying? So here's somebody, and then, Bill O'Reilly went on some rant about, instead of being upset at what happened in Highland Park, oh, well, there's black people committing crime in Chicago. So it's always this like, not wanting to, again, like even post his crime, when you talk about that white supremacy protection, there's still like protection of killers like, what's his name? Cremo, and then in his death, in Jayland Walker's death, is that attempt to criminalize him, right? To say like, oh, he shouldn't have ran. Oh, he should have did this. Oh, there was a gun found inside the car. He did not have that gun on his person, when he was killed. And, the police have they have a story, but we haven't even seen any type of corroboration that he fired a gun, that, there's no, as far as I know, there wasn't any body camera footage of that happening. You know what I'm saying? And so like, we don't even know if that was even, if that even led to, the police kind of going OD. There was a case in Kentucky, July 1st, where a white man killed 3 police officers and shot 3 others. And again, he was apprehended alive.
Yeah, and I think there is a conversation that needs to be had about Jayland Walker, and I believe in also Connecticut, Randy Cox, about this idea that people, particularly Black men, and the right to gun ownership and the right to have a gun, particularly after the recent Supreme Court ruling, it is somehow a reason for these officers to fire upon Black people. We're still a year out. This is still also the anniversary of Philando Castile. And we're talking about these officers for some reason justifying 60 plus shots just because of an individual had a gun. It actually makes no sense. Right. And it's something that we have to have a conversation around, because people deserve to have the right to protect themselves. He wasn't using the gun to harm another person. Right. And that wasn't why they stopped him. They stopped him for these traffic citations, which we know are broken windows policing, which we know are to get money to continue to terrorize and occupy neighborhoods. And the fact is, he should still be here. And these men have a reason to run from the police. They have a reason not to trust this system. And that's why we keep trying to fight to change these rules and create better circumstances and situations so that these things don't keep happening.
Right. And you said it, you Miracle. According to the police, he had like a broken tail light and a light bulb out. Again, that was something that you could have just kept it moving. You know what I'm saying? You could have just went on and like investigated like a really criminal act. This is why across the country, you know what I'm saying, we've been, there's been people passing legislation, including Pittsburgh, around like these traffic stops, these like minor, you have too much tint on your window or whatever. And like Miracle said, you're really just using this as a reason to give citations to Black people, to we're the ones that's getting pulled over. You want to have us in court. You want to have us paying fines. Post Ferguson, the Justice Department investigated this and saw that this is what a lot of these police departments were doing. They were using this as to like get cash and to, take stuff off of people. And so this isn't even about like keeping a law. This is really harassment that, again, another, just like what happened, outside of Minneapolis with the young brother, you pull somebody over because of a traffic stop. And all of a sudden that leads to that Black person's death. Now, like you said, you got to cancel the 4th of July. Now, rightfully so, people are outside in the streets of Akron protesting, and, all of these things, all of these plans that you had to be canceled and should have been canceled. So I think that's, where we're seeing this go down. Any further comments?
It's just wild to see how much justice does not exist in the police department, because you would think that like, following something like this, that officers would understand why we run If we don't even trust that we'll be apprehended alive, what makes you think that we're going to act calmly in the situation and not run, freeze, or flight? You know what I'm saying? I mean, what is it? Fight, flight, or freeze? It's like, yo, that's a fear response. It's like we are in fear because we don't know if for a simple traffic violation, we will actually get to go back home to our family. Like, that's a wild thought to think.
100%. And this is, what's even to get in even deeper. I mean, you had, and this came out of Michigan. When you look at like how the police and why will police respond to a black person differently they respond to a white person. Every study shows this, right? No matter, I don't care if the white person run, hide, whatever. Like I said, white dude killed 3 police officers. Here in Pittsburgh, a white dude killed 3 police officers, and he was apprehended. He was brought in alive. You know what I'm saying? That's the reality. But in Michigan, I guess some Boy Scouts went into the police department. This is, one of the things the police do, right? It's like, hey, like let's bring these children in, and we're going to relate to these kids. And we'll have the Boy Scout come in, and the Boy Scouts took pictures. But on their tour of the Farmington Hills Police Department in Michigan, they noticed that the police were using images of black men as target practice. So if you've ever seen, if you've ever been to a gun range, and I don't know if you have that picture, John, if you've ever been to a gun range, or you've seen in the movie a gun range, they have those targets. Well, in the Farmington Hills Police Department, those targets were actually targets of black men, right? These are the targets. And if you could see,
oh shit,
they have holes in them, right? Yeah, these are right. When I say black men, not like a silhouette of a black man. It's
not the Public Enemy symbol.
Right.
Not the Public Enemy.
No, they went to like Google and put like black men with guns and printed them out. And this is what they were using. This is what they use for target practice. And if this is happening in Farmington Hills, and this is right outside of Detroit, you wonder what else is happening inside of these police stations. You know what I'm saying? And so go ahead.
No, I mean that's wild.
Yeah.
Like I wonder, like, do they have black officers? Right.
That's a great question.
Like, do you have black officers? Do you have any officers to the global majority in the rank and file? And if so, have complaints been made to the union? Right. To the sergeant on duty, right? To the chief, that this is predatory. That shit is fucking nuts. You talking about implicit bias training? Like, that's why all that shit is a wash, bro.
Yes,
it's a dub on all of that, because if this is the way you train,
that's how you train.
Like, then that means you're telling me there's people teaching you how to pass the implicit bias tests,
right? And I mean, and we've seen, like examples of black officers, queer officers, women officers punished by these police departments because they've spoken up against racial issues, because they've said, no, I'm not going to be quiet in the face of some of these racist incidents. It was a story we didn't get to a couple of weeks ago that a cop put Nazi paraphernalia, around the police department, and he actually got paid, because he got fired. I guess they misfired him or whatever. But I mean, and so just like you said, when you talk about training to make it seem like, oh, we need sensitivity training, what do you do in the face of this? I mean, is there any legal ramifications for something like this, Mary?
I don't know why you always ask me that. No. This happens all the time. Like, there was a situation in Florida, a couple times in Georgia.
Right.
This is how these officers have trained and have been training. It's to kill Black people. It's not to see that Black people are human. And this is one of the reasons why some reformers were fighting to keep people within the city and making it that you had to live where you police. And of course, the Supreme Court said no, you can't be forced to live with people you deem as animals. And so this is what happened in Jayland Walker is a reflection of that. And 100%. I do believe that some of those officers who shot him were also non-white individuals, right? And so when we're talking about this system of policing being a whole apparatus of white supremacy, this reflects it. If you are being trained to be violent, if you're being trained to look at Black people who are in the community as threats, as shooters, as gangbangers. You're not trying to give them a second chance. You're not trying to say, you know what, let me just get on the speakerphone and be like, hey, I'm not going to search you, just giving you a ticket. Hey, a little warning, your light's out. You may want to get that fixed.
Right.
You don't go that extra mile, and that is what we're seeing. And it's devastating.
True.
To watch those videos, to hear the amount of bullets that go off without a hitch, as this and this person was fleeing. He wasn't running to them. Yeah, he was fleeing.
And that's what's wild to me. Like the moment you told me about this, bro, like the first thing I thought of was Philando Castile, firstly. And then when you told me the amount of shots, is Amadou Diallo.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was Diallo all over again. And, you know, Diallo, like it's just to have that many, like I'm thinking about like how his family is going to do the burial at this point.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't do an open casket. Like you can't do, you know what I mean? Like even with small caliber ammunition, 60 shots into flesh. It's gonna eviscerate a body. Like there's
it's overkill of the overkill. But now, does it matter now? You know, Farmington Hills, where these targets were being used, you know, is a I guess they have, you know, it's a mixed neighborhood. There's black people there. The police chief has apologized. The Farmington Hills police chief, Jeff King, he said, quote, "I'll take this one on the chin. I apologize to each and every person in this room, this community, my department, my city council, my city manager. I can't overlook this, but I promise you this will make us stronger. This will make us better. This will make us more transparent, and the community overall will come out better for this."
What he didn't say was, "I can't overlook this any longer." Like that's the thing. Like you got called to, you got to That's the thing. It's like, bro, like this happened because you allowed it and probably encouraged it.
Yeah.
So now it's up them talks, man. Like, yo, we know you were like, yo, let's shoot these niggas, man.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what the replacement videos images are gonna be like.
Right.
Because I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep them.
The bullseyes.
But they're gonna keep them. There's gonna be like a white woman, like a Hispanic woman, like a Muslim person, and they're gonna be like, well, we're gonna be multicultural, because no one ever walks back their racism completely. They just bring more people like into the history. And I wanna see like the intern who gets the sign to just like go and look up pictures
and just print these images up.
Like people with guns, and like, because that's what they're going to do. And you know, they're going to invite like the Girl Scouts or somebody else. Like, look, it's nothing but white people.
They're going to diversify the racism.
Yeah, and then people like Bill O'Reilly and Tucker Carlson are going to be mad like that there's diversity now in the police targets. They're going to be mad that, you know, they want to go back to the days where they're all black. This is what he said, to your point, Miracle. He says the difference between a threat assessment target and a silhouette target is a threat assessment target will allow you to identify if a threat is there. Our targets consist of a mix of genders and races and are shown holding a variety of items. He said 85% of the targets used during training are Caucasians and 15% are black.
But on that day, they were
on that day, that particular day, we had 100% black target.
He said he apologized to the scout troop for not providing a full explanation of those targets. Yeah, I guess maybe that was a celebratory target.
I think he's just sorry that he got caught for real. That's what it is.
Yeah, but I want to see them, because I don't know if you've ever gone on like the ride-alongs or done that. Sometimes they're holding a flashlight, sometimes holding a cell phone, sometimes holding the keys. So I want to know if it's like the white grandma holding like an AK,
like a Men in Black.
Yes, that's what I want to
like
see,
Men in Black.
Because it makes a difference if you're saying all of the majority of our threat assessment targets are Caucasian, but are the majority of your threat assessment targets that are actually a threat Caucasian?
Fulton County Police, 85% of the time we're racist, 100% of the time.
Well, that's Farmington Hills.
Oh, well, whatever. Farmington, Fulton County, whatever. It's all the same.
Fulton County is actually doing something a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Fulton County, is that where you're from, or you be hanging out in Miracle, or?
I thought we weren't getting into people's personal business. You see,
Oh
do you
man,
see? Do you see?
This nigga said, put your address out there where you forward your mail, so we can dox you.
He said,
I like that.
in Fulton County.
Fulton County, a place Miracle may have been, and I might have been as well. But what they're doing in Fulton County is they're actually subpoenaing. They sent some subpoenas out, and Miracle. Of course, when I see the subpoenas go to Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, Senator Lindsey Graham, they're talking about like actually bringing them in to question them about how they tried to suppress the vote in Georgia in 2020. Remember, Trump tried to get the Republican governor Kemp out of there. He won. Trump tried to get the Secretary of State that he tried to bully into changing the results in Georgia out. He won. So maybe this is some payback. So Miracle, tell us what this means. I mean, these folks are getting subpoenaed. They're going to have to testify in Georgia about the fact that they tried to overturn the election on Trump's behalf. Is this the beginning of the end for Trump, Miracle?
No. Because one is the Black woman doing it, even though she's, she out here trying to, arrest the team, the YSL, everybody. And she said, I'm gonna be diversified. The same lady. She said, I'm gonna diversify my carceral approach. I'm gonna get the Black men and the white men. And she's coming also for the conservatives. And again, this goes back to people remember when the 2020 election happened. Trump secretary and a couple of other people called the local secretary of state in Georgia and was like, just throw out Black people's votes. You did it before, do it again. The issue is a lot of organizations did a lot of great groundwork. And so Georgia has a very robust education system around voting and tracing. So you can't just like throw out a couple 100,000 votes like you did prior. Yeah. And they were dumb enough to record the call and put the call out. And that is, of course, election tampering. It's a violation. But Senator Graham said, that's cute. I'm not complying with your subpoena.
Oh, wow.
And they have all said that they're not going to really agree. I don't foresee Fulton County sending people out to arrest a sitting senator to bring him before a judicial tribunal.
That would be wild.
It would be wild. It would be.
Do that. I would be down. See, that's the type of police that I want to see. Go get Lindsey Graham. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like some HBO drama shit.
Yeah, for the record, it said Lindsey Graham separately called the Secretary of State in Georgia twice in weeks following the November 2020 elections about re-examining certain absentee ballots cast in Georgia in order to explore the possibility of a more favorable outcome for former President Donald Trump. I mean, and I thought this was the party of law and order, Miracle. I mean, they're just going to ignore subpoenas?
Yes.
Subpoena is such a funny word. I always think about vegetables when I hear subpoena.
I've said it before.
They're criminals.
Republicans are true abolitionists.
True.
Republicans are true anarchists. They pick and choose what laws they follow. They pick and choose what police they like, and they pick and choose when and where the law will apply to them. They do not care. And no, yes, the law says when you get subpoenaed, you have to show up. And Lindsey is saying, make me. Trump is saying, make me. They're not complying. They literally do not have to. What they did was get overconfident and forget that they were on a recorded line again because white supremacy. And then they bragged about it. And Trump tried to kind of do a January 6th, but in Georgia, like, I called your Secretary of State and he wouldn't fight for me. And he tried to rally up the troops to try to force the stuff, but he snitched on himself. And we all know this. And I don't think that anything is going to happen. I think the reality is something will happen to the district attorney because she is a Black woman before anything happens to any of these powerful white men.
That's deep.
So I had one more question, Miracle, because like what you said, I mean, here's this district attorney. To her, she's going after these so-called like RICO cases, right? This is conspiracy, right? This is a group of people. They all got together. They made like audio taped calls to this guy to try to pressure him to overturn the election. So like my question is like, can they go to Georgia? Like, because if they've been subpoenaed, Like, let's say Lindsey Graham just showed up in Georgia, they can hit him with the subpoena, right? Would they?
I mean, he's been subpoenaed. They have the power
to arrest him and bring him to the grand jury
once he is in the sovereign of any Georgia jurisdiction. They have the ability to arrest him and force him to show up. Of course, he can plead the fifth. I don't understand why he would fight the subpoena. Just because he can just plead the fifth, and it's like the easiest thing to do.
Miracle, somebody said that if you plead the fifth, you're guilty. And that's somebody Donald Trump. Donald Trump said that. That came out of his mouth. So
we all know he's guilty. We all know he did it. Nobody really, except for these black women, really have the balls to come after him. Biden ain't doing nothing. Merrick Garland just sitting on his high horse.
Byron.
Byron's not doing nothing. Merrick's not doing nothing. The DOJ's not doing anything.
Them niggas are shook. Trump got them niggas shook, man.
They have all of this.
Trump like Calvin and paid in full.
Well, I'm saying, well, maybe why? Because we had, one person, there was a woman that gave testimony to the January 6th committee, and even in her testimony, she did sound a little shook, but apparently she filled some stuff in about January 6th. And apparently on January 6th, Donald Trump wanted to go. I'm kind of mad they didn't let him. I'm gonna be honest with you.
That would have been must-see TV. Like,
he wanted to go to the Capitol with his minions and like lead them into the building. So here is, I think her name is Cassidy Hutchinson, testifying about Donald Trump's behavior on January 6th. Let's get it.
Under the impression from Mr. Meadows that the off-the-record movement to the Capitol was still possible and likely to happen, but that Bobby had more information. So once the president had gotten into the vehicle with Bobby, he thought that they were going up to the Capitol, and when Bobby had relayed to him, we don't have the assets to do it, it's not secure, we're going back to the West Wing. The president had a very angry response to that. Tony described him as being irate. The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, "Sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. Going back to the West Wing, we're not going to the Capitol." Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel. And when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Oh, Trump was putting hands on cat. That's why they scared of him. Yo,
Trump be about it. I told y'all. Y'all want to call him Teflon Joe. He donned, like, he is a gang. He is like the mafia. He is like B613 in real life.
And he wanted to storm the Capitol with his team. And because he said he's on record, real quick, he's on record. He said, he was trying to get them to take away the metal detectors. And they were saying to him this was on January 6th, they were saying, Mr. President, we have to find out if these people had weapons. He was like, they got weapons, but they ain't for me. They ain't gonna harm me. They ain't gonna hurt me. So to Trump, it's like, I don't need no Secret Service. Like, these is my people. I'm going up here with my people. I don't need no Secret Service. They'll protect me. And so he got gangster. What was you gonna say, Farouk? He was gonna.
I said that's probably the only thing that's actually keeping him out of jail was the fact that he didn't go and lead that charge on some Robert E. Lee, little bighorn type shit. True. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably the only thing that's standing in front of him in a jail cell.
Maybe, Farouk, because who knows if he's successful? Like, who knows if he runs up in there with all those people?
Oh, the morale would have changed. Like, them niggas, they all would have turned Super Saiyan there.
They might have burned the Capitol to the ground. Hey, yo, Farouk, they might have destroyed everything.
Listen, every blood clot thing, bro. They would have turned it. They'd have fought off the Avengers. They'd have fought off Superman, Batman. No kryptonite would have stopped these niggas. They just trampled the flag, put a new one up, dug Hitler out the grave, brought him back. Bill O'Reilly would have been there.
Hey, yo, that's
Sean
what I'm
Hannity
saying.
would have been pissing on shit like it.
Hey,
Would have been even more shit on the walls if
Oh.
I
Trump.
was just about to say, you think there would be more shit on the walls?
There'd be more shit on the wall.
hey, it would have
Celebration shit everywhere.
Really, if Trump comes, I mean, do the police roll with Trump? I mean, do they surround the Capitol? That's what I'm saying. Do they hold Congress hostage, the Senate hostage? I mean, hey, bro, it could have been. I mean, this might have been like the whole coup move. So Bobby might have saved us. He might, you know what I mean? We might be living in a different America. We might be living in a different America, man. If Trump would have ran up in that, hey, bro, hey, it would have been. You talk about a crazy scene.
Them niggas like, you ain't rolling with Trump, you get your meat lump. You know what I mean? Like they.
Hey, think about how crazy those videos are now, right? Go and watch those videos. They're climbing up the side of the Capitol. This shit looks nuts.
What were those infomercials that used to come on when we were younger? Was it Girls Gone Wild? It'd been like it'd been like that if Trump would have been there, bro.
It'd have been.
Only you would come up with something.
100%.
Trump going wild.
Yeah, that is but so Miracle. So Miracle. Wait, before you answer, Miracle, okay? Because experts have weighed in on her testimony. Okay, and what they said, Miracle, was they said, assuming her evidence is corroborated, I'd say that it does add significantly to Trump's criminal exposure almost across the board, because it shows a particular state of mind that would be evidence the prosecution could submit to a jury for a number of different types of offenses. All right, so now Miracle, and supposedly they said 2 other Secret Service agents like confirmed this report or corroborated her report. So Miracle, and somebody asked, you know what I'm saying? Maggie was in the comments, right? When is he going to jail? Is this it, Miracle?
I don't know why y'all ask me this every week. Never.
Man assaulted a Secret
Never.
Service.
You expect the people who can't even pass legislation to make sure women and pregnant people can have the right to health care are going to be motivated to prosecute someone who decided to have people crap in public and putting their feet up on the couch with the outside clothes in the nation's capital. Like, no, they're not. Nothing is going to happen to these people. Yeah. The only people who are going to jail are the idiots who put themselves on social media like, we're having a revolution, we're taking the Capitol.
And they did.
Everybody else is at home.
Hashtag stop the steal. Like people. That was a real hashtag stop the steal.
January
was a real thing.
6th directly resulted in at least 5 people's deaths.
True.
Nobody has been arrested and charged with murder in DC, a federal jurisdiction.
Really?
These people are not going to prison. They are not being arrested. They are not going to be terrorists. You're not going to see Trump doing the perp walk in his nice little orange suit. You're not going to see his booking photo. Okay. He's going to run for office, and he's probably going to promise to free the people from PPP loans and scammers. And then he's going to be back, and he's going to be back, and Farouk is going to be MAGA Muslim to them and talking about welcome to the stage. No. Let me ask you. Last thing. If they wanted to, they would have the same evidence that they have now. They had 2 weeks ago. They had 3 weeks ago. They had 4 months ago. I don't know if you've ever been to DC, the city of surveillance. True. But if they want to prosecute you, they will. They don't give a. They want him to run. They want him to talk about bringing slavery back, and they want to use him as a weapon to terrorize people into voting, and that's what they're going to do. And then maybe next year, when it's safe and sound, they may be like, okay, we'll maybe indict one of the Trump siblings. No.
Miracle. Is it a difference that we know now? Like,
no.
All right, Farouk, go ahead. You have a question?
Now, if this was AOC or anybody of the squad taking money or threatening to kill people, you would see a difference.
100%.
But America loves white men. Sure. America loves to make white men seem like they're boys and teenagers who don't know what they're doing
100%.
and who are forced to act and behave badly,
Wow.
and they don't hold them responsible for stuff.
No, you're right. You had a question for Miracle, and then I have one more question, Miracle.
So I guess my question is for both of you, everybody, really, like, is there a scenario where the Republican Party is kind of like, okay, Trump is a little too uncontrollable, we're gonna put all of our money behind DeSantis? Like, is there
who's worse than Trump?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But like, is there a universe where like DeSantis seems more controllable?
The universe would be if Trump was found, if they were able to make some of these charges stick.
Right.
But right now, Trump, and it's really about Trump's ability to raise money just for him and for everybody else. That's really what it is. And it's like Trump and this like insane, like cult like loyalty that he's like, DeSantis doesn't have that yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He doesn't have these people like ready to kill and die for him and putting on like, all types of capes and hats and socks. I mean, yeah, Trump everything. So I think that's the difference. But I have one more question, Miracle. Okay. Just like you said, people died, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going through the criminal suits now, but isn't there
police officers died and nobody gave a fuck?
Police officers died,
right? You get me?
Is there a possibility those officers' families, in light of all this, could sue Trump for creating this? You know what I'm saying? And get at least civilly, because civilly sue Trump and maybe bankrupt this dude. Isn't that a possibility?
You cannot sue elected officials for things that happen.
What?
I did not know what.
Oh, this is some bullshit.
You cannot sue.
I'm mad as hell.
Elected officials for things,
even if he's no longer an elected official.
But it all stems from his job description as elected official.
Someone need to elect me for something, goddamn it, because I cause all kinds of chaos. I'll be indemnified than a motherfucker.
We already have one MAGA Muslim running for Senate, and that's Dr. Oz. We don't need another one.
Man, listen, I'll make some
Drew
radical
can't wait
change.
till terrorize people. Could you imagine? I would be your campaign manager and been like,
that's what I said. Don't give me no powers. Don't give me powers. Don't give me influence. It's bad enough 5,000 people watch me a week. Goddamn it! Imagine what I do with 6 million.
Right. Now you did mention DeSantis, and a wild story another wild story. I mean, saying a wild story came out of Florida is kind of like ridiculous because it's always
because what's the metric for wild in Florida?
It's much different.
You got Florida man, and then you got DeSantis,
right? And then someplace in between there, it's like we got to move the goal line every so often.
Definitely. But DeSantis signed a bill, and again, I don't know.
This is fucking nuts. I'm
gonna let everybody weigh in, but Miracle, I don't know how this is legal. He signed a bill requiring the survey of Florida students' professors on their political views, that colleges could lose funding if they do not survey their professors to find out what their political views are. This sounds like, a precursor to some, Nazi Germany. Am I tripping when I say that? Am I going overboard? It sounds wild nuts. And it also sounds like wild illegal. I mean, am I right on this, Miracle?
I mean, I think I just said like 5 minutes ago. These people keep making up their own laws and be like, take me to court, because they have stacked the judiciary, they have stacked the Supreme Court with other Christian fascist radical people who do not care about the rights of non-conservatives.
Right.
And they're going to keep doing these things until somebody stops them. It's not correct. It violates the First Amendment. It violates the Constitution. It creates a police state. It creates the policing of ideas, because not only are they creating this bill that you have to survey people's responses, but they're attaching funding to what people believe. And so they're actually creating indoctrination camps.
Right.
The cool thing about this is it may create this public-private partnership where you start to see a bunch of corporations
fight. Smart.
Thank you. Fight back and actually fund education. It may also force the Biden administration to do, a student loan forgiveness and to make education and tuition free, just because of all of this. Again, if you had a federal judiciary who were cared and motivated to help people, but here we are.
I just want to have a quote from the article before I bring you in trouble in on this. Farouk, one of the top lobbyists pushing this bill said that this was less about intellectual diversity and more concerned with maintaining the country's conservative Christian identity in the face of younger, more diverse generations that share a dimmer view of religious right-wing orthodoxy. I mean, they're just coming out and letting you know, like, hey, yo, this is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to force you back into this kind of like Christian right-wing ideology that the United States tries to drape itself in, but doesn't live up to, particularly for Black and brown folks.
And if you don't like it, you can get at it. Like this was similar to what happened in the 60s. Like I remember watching interviews where they were talking to Muhammad Ali, and they were like, he was associating with known Muslims, right? Malcolm X was a known Muslim, right? And then they alleged people were communists before that. So imagine hearing, like in the state of Florida, so and so's associating with known Democrats or known socialists, known progressives. Known progressive, right? That's going to be the nomenclature that's going to be used, right? Known, and then your political party line. But I'm asking this question now: how is this any different from a layman's point of view, I guess, than New York making people register your social media handles when you purchase a firearm?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
This isn't any different, right? No. So it's not just Florida doing this. This is New York State and New York City that's saying, hey, we'll let you have a gun, but you got to give us some more insider information than we're allowed to have.
I would say New York will probably argue that because of what we talked about earlier in the show, right? When you have somebody like a cream, Creamo,
but can't you just change this shit then?
I mean, of course. I mean, you probably could lie. I don't know how they would verify that. You know what I'm saying? Because you might have some folks. Some folks have their name and some folks have something made up. You might not be able to find certain folks as
right. What if you have a private profile?
Or you might have somebody, I keep trying to, I'm not going to say who, somebody put us onto a Finsta. I didn't know you got an Insta, you got a Finsta. So like,
I didn't know what the hell that was until somebody told me about it.
What social media thing are you going to give? But I think that's different than saying like, yo, we want to survey these professors. It's not anonymous. And we want to make sure that these folks are like teaching quote unquote Christian right-wing value. They want to like force that because they feel like these professors and folks aren't teaching that. I mean, you're a lead teaching artist, Trouble. You go and like, how do you view something like this? Like, how would you feel if somebody said, okay, before you go come into this school, you have to tell us what your political ideologies are?
See, what I like about being a teaching artist is I could say, fuck you, I got a classroom over here. Y'all could come if you want. From, Florida's starting to become like a really wild place to live now that I look at it. It's like their freedoms and rights are slowly starting to become more stripped, more strict, and, so on and so forth. And it's like, I'm low-key looking at Florida like, do I even want to visit? You know what I'm saying? Is it even worth it? You know?
I mean, you're right. Because I mean, what is it? Is it going to be now you got to give before you go into Disney World? You got to, give your background information. I mean, it is pretty wild to look at. Definitely, like, would you want to live there in light of like them actively trying to say like? But I mean, it goes. I mean, I think this is what we saw, with Roe v. Wade and all of this, right? It's like you have like these Christian ideologues on the Supreme Court, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I want to come to you, Miracle. One of the stories that came out this week, there was over 1 million people, signed a petition, Miracle, asking that Clarence Thomas be impeached and kicked off the Supreme Court. Of course, not only does Clarence Thomas's wife has been actively actively, openly participated in. She might have been at January 6th for all we know. You know what I'm saying? She might have been there.
She was.
Right, but she
Oh,
right.
really?
Right, and she supposedly gave money for the buses. You know, she was calling everybody trying to get Trump, you know, these people to get votes away. You know, a story came out saying that Clarence
I wonder if she was making them like peanut butter sandwiches with the crust cut off too.
The little oranges.
Yeah, some orange slices. Like, here you go.
They
Don't
said
get God
that
ready.
they said Clarence Thomas was telling people that the vaccine had aborted baby fetuses in it.
He put that in his opinion, yes.
Right, 100% not true, but this is, and so like, again, I'm coming to you, Miracle.
He's compromised. He should be removed from the Supreme Court.
Is there what have you heard? Like, what's stopping them from like not in like? How do you begin this impeachment process? What's going
I believe
on?
it was MLK was talking about how the white moderate is so in love with process and order that they will essentially allow things to be destroyed besides doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. People love the Supreme Court. They want to keep the all about the Supreme Court held up, but they're not going to impeach him. I would, if I was Biden, I would be like, listen, bro, you gotta resign, because the judiciary is something different. Because there was a lady here in Pennsylvania who was talking about there is no law. There's only God's divine law. And people are like, hey, she needs to be removed. She can't be a judge, because you have to have this presence of impartiality. And Clarence Justice Thomas has violated that, not only with the stuff he's written down, but the fact that his wife was allegedly using his personal email address and communications in a part of this January 6th debate and planning. And so I think he should at minimum be recused himself from any situation around January 6th elections and voting. I don't think he will, because he doesn't have to, but he should. And I think there should be a resignation announcement coming soon. It'll probably happen closer to November, because then Mitch McConnell can say, hey, I'm not going to put up a Supreme Court justice nominee until there's an actual vote. Right. But yeah, I do think he's going to have to pull himself back. Again, Biden does not have the wherewithal to do this, or the desire to. He and Nancy really don't have the desire to do what needs to be done to save people's lives and to protect this democracy, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it looks that way. Y'all have any comment, Trouble or Farouk?
Joe Biden.
Go ahead, say it. Go ahead and say it. So when the Secret Service comes in, we can have a comparison.
You about to sit this one out? No, I mean, I think Miracle. It was I guess they took another survey, said 71% of people don't want Biden to run again. I mean, he does not seem to be the person for this moment. You know how when Obama
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, and it seemed like he was the man for that moment. Like Trump, Biden is just not. It's like he's not fit. He's not energetic enough. He's not strong enough. I mean, it's like
falling on bikes and shit. Just
what'd you say?
He's falling on bikes and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
someone said the only reason we ain't seen Kamala is because she's recovering from a BBL.
No, that's not good. So sexist. No, I think Joe really thought that his whiteness would save him. I think he really thought that people would be like, "Oh, it's me, it's Uncle Joe, it's not Barack."
I beat up Corn Pop.
They're gonna treat me different, and they went just as hard against him as they went against Obama, and he was just "No, Mitch is my friend. No, Senator Lindsey Graham, that's my friend. Oh, this man is my friend. They'll help me. We'll put all this partisan stuff out." But all the bills that he has put out has been about war, has been about things that are not going to improve the lives of everyday people. It hasn't been about,
Let me be serious for a second. Go ahead.
It hasn't been about stopping evictions. It hasn't been about making sure people have food or formula or anything.
Right.
And so that's why we're here. Go ahead.
It's not even Miracle, just real quick. He's not even like threatening. He's not even like, yo, man, if y'all don't do this, like he's not even like bluffing. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't take away any committee assignments from cinema or what's that man in Virginia? I forgot.
Yeah, Mansion. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. That's what I'm saying. He's not even, and it's like you're watching this as somebody that's like, you want to see some movement around these issues, and you're just like, yo, is this dude like, does this dude have a pulse? I mean, like, and you start to look at him as Sleepy Joe. Like he got us, Trump got us calling him Sleepy. You feel me? You being serious? You want to take your sunglasses off and just look at him?
I get serious. So I have very nice brown eyes. I'm just tired right now. One of the things we had talked about on here,
we were talking about the fall of democracy, and you're over here.
Democracy been falling. What I'm chatting about?
Talking about your deep brown eyes.
Yeah, come on.
Lord save us.
Listen, it's the browning of America,
you're
isn't
You're being serious.
So anyway,
neighborhood narcissist, Miracle. I mean, he told us at the top.
The narcissist.
That is your best
come
friend.
on, there you go. You know, he knows how to pick them, right? So one of the things that we had said on here, and this was around the time the January 6th trial started, was that like I had said, and Miracle had said this also, that Biden would probably pardon Trump, right? And then Biden has gone out of his way to partner with all of these conservative and these kind of radical Republicans, right? He's made friends with everybody. And this isn't conjecture. These are things that he's shown, right? Yeah. He's done everything he can to not help black people. He said
he wants to eat more lunch. He mad like he can't kick it with them more.
He remember the good old days when we used to have lunch with segregationists. Like we used to have ham sandwiches and just chat about how them niggas knew how not to drink out of our fountains. And it was a glorious day in America, right? And that's what he was chatting about. But like really and truly though, like voting rights, silent on. Oh, I can't do anything about that. Mass shootings, damn. If only someone would rise up. Abortion rights, damn. You know, do I want to do something? No. Trump, you know, I'm just gonna kind of leave this to legislation. Clarence Thomas, silence. Like but in part of that, like on the inverse of that, what is he doing? He's partnering with these Republicans. He's going to appoint someone who is anti-abortion to office. He's going to do these things that are going to insulate him because he don't give a fuck about what black people think.
True.
Right? He's expecting there to be some subterfuge in the Republican Party that's going to give him maybe another breath, another run at the Oval Office. And he's like, you know what? Trump will probably have his own sect of the GOP. But if I can get some of these that lean closer towards my side, I'm going to do everything I can to partner with them to insulate myself. And, you know, and that's the thing. It's just like, yo, he's in this realm right now where he's not really a Democrat.
Yeah.
He's not really a Republican. He's kind of that red. What's red and blue make purple?
Yeah. He's a great street.
Yeah,
that's you never had the
talk. Street. What talk?
Well, like girls are
my dad
red, boys are blue, and we don't think purple.
No, my dad said you go to public school, you figure it out.
But I mean, you're right, and it's like what happens for
color wheel.
It reminds me of like kind of like, you know, our former mayor is like. You're at a point now where both sides hate you. Like we don't like the Republicans already don't like you because you're with Obama and you're a quote unquote Democrat. Now, like the people that roll with you and voted for you and did all that. Now we ain't messing with you. And it's like you find yourself.
Who would he run with again? Because it's not going to be Kamala.
I have no idea, man. I don't
like
know.
who's like.
Hey, bro. Hey, Trouble. You want to run, bro?
I was just about to say.
Hey, I'm cool.
Hey,
Reject Biden. Is that going to be your?
What did he say?
Reject Biden.
Reject. that's actually a good one. That's a good one.
You know what I mean?
That's kind of hard. Well, I mean,
my only comment on all of this is that like I almost called him Joe Byron. He be treating these issues like that bike. You know what I'm saying? It's just out of my hands.
I wish I had the sound box, bro. I'll load you up on that one.
So I know it's almost 7. Did we want to get into the new clan real quick before we close, or did y'all want to just close it out?
Well, I wanted to do our white pages.
Okay, so we'll skip the new clan. We'll maybe talk about the new clan next time, and we'll go into
the new clan wears badges.
The new clan,
I mean, we already know that. You know what I'm saying?
The new clan is like They go shopping at Target.
They go shopping at Target, and they actually the new Klan votes Democrat.
Well, I thought you were soft if you wore a mask. I thought you were Hey, Miracle, I thought you were soft if you wear a mask. Why they all got masks on? I thought like wearing a mask made you soft. You was
they
weak.
Can't stand on their own. They not 10 toes down. They ain't for real.
Come on.
Yeah.
Because they can't stand on them, be on it because they just.
And
weak.
that's a great segue because you can't be 10 toes down if you have stepping. And that is the Siri ain't the only one with segues, bro. Come on, man, do this, innit? Man, do these things. So today's wait, no, it's this one. Yeah.
That one.
Yeah. No half stepping.
What happened? What happened?
I don't need all that black sass today.
Oh! That MAGA Muslim coming out, Miracle.
Uh-oh.
The return of the light-skinned bully. It is earned. It has been earned.
Miracle's gonna be working out.
Thank you.
Miracle gonna be throwing. She's gonna be throwing darts at.
Wait. That's what you see. That's a light-skinned man right there. Kid is wild light-skinned in here. But anyway, no half stepping. This is a kind of like a picture walkthrough of some of the greatest eras in musical history through hip hop. And this is co-authored by our very own and one of our founding members, Paradise Gray. You can see right here with the ill perm. Dice's perm game was wild. Yeah, like he had the rollers in his shit for probably 72 hours for them curls. He had the big worm. He had the big perm curls, bro. Like, but his is this the Force MDs, man? It's like look at some of the photos in here curated by Paradise Gray. And this is, I mean, what's dope on here is that like, even though Chris Rock, kind of turned into a meme, we got him here with Kid and Play. And Trevor, you know who Kid and Play is?
Of course.
Okay, I'm just making sure, bro. I'm just making sure. You know what I mean? But yeah, so if that's our white pages.
Intergenerational organization.
Yeah, we are an intergenerational organization. We are intersectional, intergenerational.
Speaking of that, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, speaking of intergenerational, YBMKQ is having their kind of weekend blowout. They have a gospel concert. They have a women's empowerment summit. You know what I'm saying? That's all happening this weekend. Shout out to Khalil, YBMKQ. If you go to their, social media, you can get all the details about the YBMKQ weekend. Anything else happening this weekend?
It's also on our social media. The family of Sandra Bland, it has released some Sandy Speaks t-shirts. There's a lot of there's still a lot of protesting happening every day. So, you can follow Pittsburgh protests, like for more information around local protests happening. Just remember to be safe and just to take care of yourself. Unless you have a problem with black sassiness, then you can just be out on your own. But other than that,
this is one of the only pictures of Slick Rick without his eye patch on.
Yeah, that's an ill picture. Also, encouraging folks to go to blackpittsburgh.com. A new story just dropped today. A profile of Pittsburgh's new First Lady, Michelle Gainey, called "The Bridges That Divide Also Give Access." So go to blackpittsburgh.com, check out the new article, share it around. We got our own space now to tell our own stories. You know what I'm saying?
And if you see any videos on YouTube that look like a certain light-skinned someone being harmed, just ignore it. It's fake.
It's fake news.
It's fake news.
That's a threat. No, it's not. Miracle put that 10 minutes to live.
No, it's not. No,
they're haters out here. That's all.
It's just some haters. That's right. So with that being said, hopefully next week,
wait, one more thing. Next Wednesday, if I don't see happy birthdays in the comments, you're not real.
Blah.
You're not real.
Oh yeah, we got to record early next week because on July 13th, my brother's gonna be in full birthday mode. You know what I'm saying? Cancer season is upon us. So shout out to
Don't remind me. Don't fucking remind. On that note, everybody have a good night. I'm out
you
of
see
here.
how fast karma comes? It's like,
good night, everybody.
Ooh, them crabs. Them crabs got you. So hopefully we'll see y'all next week. Black
I'll be
Card
in
Weekly
Fulton
goes
County.
down. Yeah, so we got to record early next week. So if we don't see y'all this weekend, we love y'all. Be safe, you know what I'm saying? And you know,
Did you
stay
leave?
black, stay liberated. You feel me?
Peace. Never
Till the
lose
next
sight.
time. Peace.
Oh, happy
One hood,
Eid.
y'all.
Happy Eid.
Happy
Friday.
Eid to my
Welcome to the whitest house. Slave souls haunt the halls when the light is out. Except the blood of the poor and the white they mouth. The last gas of a world that is dying out. Welcome to the whitest house, where every room is a tomb that they lie about. Where you can put your filthy feet on the finest couch, and for the right amount, you can even buy it out.
That's the essence of your entire political identity. You might be a white supremacist.